Hey, you guys, it's your girl Latanya Vaz, and welcome to Soul and Soil Podcast. Okay, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling? And until it is an official episode, I'm going to continue to say it. This is not an official episode, but this is definitely the start of the Sunday reset series that I want to do because I need to actually definitely build some consistency with this shit. And I'm just going to let y'all know, I'm putting y'all in charge to watch my back. Okay, girl, I not hold on. What is it, girl? I gotta watch my back because I'm not just anybody. They didn't slide like it needed to do, but you know what I'm saying, okay? Just watch my back because it seems like every time I want to record something, especially like I don't know when I'm in nature, I just feel like I'm in my element, right? But every time I want to go somewhere, I will go where I know no one's going to be, and every time I record, people just pop up. And normally I would try a few times and I'll be like, okay. But then today I was like, nah, we committing to a Reset Sunday series video, and this is going to be the start. So if you're new here, welcome to Soul and Soil, where we have conversations that are kind of outside of the normal scope, right? We like to bring adverse. Oh dang, no, we didn't. I need to start charging my phone. I need to start charging my phone, but just not today. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. But no, we just like to have conversations that are kind of like where we come together. We don't have to have the same perspective, but like let's just have a conversation, open dialogue, right? Let's just hear each other out. And it's going to evolve in purpose. And I definitely have a whole um, vision for it. But right now, let's just focus on Soul and Soil and Reset Sunday. So, Reset Sunday, for the girlies who are not, or the girlies and the souls that are not on social media chronically, is normally, well, it was a trend a little bit ago when self care was definitely trending at its peak, where everybody would be like, "Ooh, reset Sunday, self care Saturday," and it's like basically you want to get yourself together on a Sunday, or basically prior to the week starting, you want to prep yourself for the week so that you can just be productive, be intentionally productive, because there's a difference between performative productivity and then intentional productivity, which we will get into. That is not what we're worried about right now. But Reset Sunday was basically kind of like a trend where you would get your week together, meal prep, go to the gym, laundry, gym, Tim, laundry for the gym, Jersey Shore girlies, because I definitely was a part of that era. So you have your gym, tan, and laundry day. Me, I do the tan because I like to spend like a little bit of moment in nature on my Sundays. So yes, very much gym, tan, laundry. Okay, anyways, back at the point at hand. I started doing Reset Sunday, and I didn't realize it was Reset Sunday until it became a trend. I was doing this prior to it becoming a trend. It was more of during COVID. I noticed that Sunday was the day that I could be the most intentionally productive. And let's get into that. So, intentionally productive is when you're actually doing something that adds purpose or value, or you need to bring to completion, and so you actually are mindful to make sure you get that done, versus there's people like me who I love a good to-do list, but a lot of times I put a lot of filler shit inside of my to-do list to where I like basically overwhelm myself and I don't get things done, to where I normally need a Sunday to reset my point, right? Which we're learning balance. We're learning balance. So with Reset Sunday, prior to it becoming a trend, I was doing it kind of as a reset to my life on Sunday, because I noticed that's when I had the most energy. Normally Saturday back then, especially during COVID, I would be sleeping in, doing what I wanted to do on a Saturday, get into my creative flow, fucking up the kitchen a little bit, trying some new recipes, right? Not doing the dishes until this Sunday, right? And so, and then also a lot of times, say the kids, they might be with their dad or grandma got them and she's like, hey, I'm gonna drop them off Sunday. So I would normally try to get everything done prior to the kids coming back to me in the evening, right? So that's kind of how Sunday reset or Reset Sunday came about for me. But the reason why I want to do this series is because I feel like I want to have conversations that kind of put us in the right mindset for the next week, and things that we can actually like intentionally carry out throughout our week. And so let me get into performative too. So because I told you about intentional, right? Productivity. Then there's performative productivity. Performative productivity is the girlies who claim that they're always busy, but they're busy with nonsense, because if you really look at the to-do list, none of the things help. One, they're not cohesive, right? It doesn't add purpose to the life. It's more just like filler things to say that you're busy. the girlies who want to have 16 things on their to-do list, but it's not anything that actually gives them fulfillment or purpose or joy. Like there's no peace in it. There's none of those things. Like the cores are not there, but you're just doing it to be doing it. The ones that like me, I'll get in the point where it's like my money's on my mind and I'll try to work 16 jobs. Ma'am, that's performative productivity because honestly, you're spending more money trying to carry all these titles and do all these jobs that you ain't getting shit done and you're wasting it. Now you need 6 more jobs to recoup what you spent on these jobs. You know what I mean? Let's get into the matcha. It's a pumpkin spice matcha from the Wawa. I digress before I go on a tangent. But anyways, back into it. So Reset Sunday series. I kind of want to start having the conversations, and today's conversation, because I need to go ahead and get into it. We 5 minutes in already. Is this one as a conversation for the collective of souls that are feeling like they're outside of purpose, or B, you feel like your creativity is blocked? Because I feel like a lot of creative souls feel use their creativity to fulfill purpose. Clock it. Look at her using her words. Look at her actually intentionally thinking about the thought first, and okay, that's not. Why am I holding this like that down? Anyways, so a lot of times we will find ourselves like feeling blocked, and you feel like you can't get into your creative flow. You feel like there's like no matter what you do, you can do a self-care weekend, you can do all the things that you thought would like in the back, like in the past it used to help spark your creativity, but it seems like no matter what you're doing, ain't shit working. Ain't shit working. Right? Or for the people who feel like they're out of purpose, like you're doing everything that you feel like you're obligated to do because of the roles that you have you felt would give you that sense of fulfillment, and now you feel like it was at a time you were walking in your purpose, but now it feels like there's like a whole disconnect. I'm talking to yo, because same, I operate in both of those. I feel like my creativity was being blocked for a while, and then also I just felt like I was out of purpose, even though I was moving. Well, at a time, the roles that I selected were moving in purpose, and I was. But now I feel like either A, I finished this assignment, or B, I'm just not in alignment with it anymore. And I've been holding on to it, and I finally came to the awareness because I decided to allow myself to be with it, sit with that shit, right? Which is what we're gonna discuss today for the reset. Um, I finally sat with myself, and that's whenever I heard those answers. And once I finally sat with it, heard her out, heard that perspective out, right? That's when I started feeling like that creative flow came back. That's when I started realizing places where I'm still in purpose and places I need to remove myself because I'm definitely out. And also being comfortable to do the steps and take my time with it too. Whenever you start to come to awareness about things that need to change in your life, a lot of times we all get very much hyper focused on the big goal because you want to change. You want to see a transition in your reality to where you're going to try to do a whole fucking life renovation at 3 a.m., which I always I repost those reels every time I get a chance. It'd be like you'll literally be bumming it or just not moving in purpose, not moving in your creative flow. And then all of a sudden, 3 a.m., the manic, for me, not for everybody, but for me, the mania sits in, or the manic sits in. Are you talking to me? Hey, what you got to contribute to the conversation? I try to give y'all a nice little vibe. So y'all got some little nature, some little birdies talking in the background. So they might, chime in from here and there. But the times where I would wake up 3 a.m. having all this energy to do everything, and then it would be like one power drop, like and then now I'm not creative for the next 6 fucking weeks, or I don't even finish a project that I start out on, or the 16 projects that I started because when I was in that manic phase, I was like, I got to take full advantage of it. And this is not me projecting on you guys, but I definitely know a few people, a few souls that you resonate with what I'm saying, okay? And that's who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to the motherfuckers who don't understand what I'm saying. Okay. So, boom. I realized as I sat with myself, right, because I gave myself time, that I was fucking distracted. And that's really like, now listen before, because don't be like, bitch, okay, you had me until you said all that, because I ain't distracted. I'm locked in. No. If you're walking around with that little cellular device, that little square electronic device in your pocket, you're distracted. babe, if you're involved in the things that's going on in our current reality, if you have awareness of all the crazy things that are going on in our reality, then no, you're distracted, boo. It's okay. Because guess what those things are? Those were like created, basically. That's what I was like. Those are created distractions. Those were sent there. Like, those are intentional distractions. That's the word I'm looking for. The distractions that we all are seeing are intentional distractions, but that's a conversation for another day. That might be a Twitch conspiracy convo I want to have, but not right now. Um, but we are so distracted by what's going on, and we don't realize as creatives we pull our energy from so many things. We pull our purpose, our creativity from our pain, our joy, things that inspire us, people that inspire us, stories that like just there's so many things that we pull our creativity from. And in this world, everything basically survives off energy, regardless if it's positive or negative. Whatever we choose to feed into is being fed, right? And so for me, for the last few months, well, it's been years, but especially these last few months, steadily, I felt like I was being blocked creatively, and I also felt stagnant in life because everything that was going on around me just felt like it was constantly being pumped. Politics was being pumped. Transitions at my job to reinforce that there's actual political changes is happening as we speak, whether if we're all aware of it or not, right, in our different communities. But as time has been sitting with me, I realized like I was distracted because I was focused on the politics. It was actually causing changes in my life to happen, like organizational changes at work, to where I was just like, okay, so at first I was trying to vibe through it. I was trying to let y'all do y'all thing, and it don't affect me if I don't give it energy. But because it was intentionally set there to do what it's there to do, of course it's pulling on my energy, and of course I'm paying attention to it because it's like it's human nature to, when you see something that bothers your spirit, you're going to focus, you're going to like turn your attention and awareness to it because a lot of us are triggered. We're very much triggered. And so as I'm seeing changes happen, I'm being triggered, right? Which now, since I'm being triggered, I'm being hyper focused on something else. I don't have mental space capacity, I don't have heart space or capacity to move in my purpose or to do what makes me feel happy, what to fulfill my life experience. Because literally, we all on our own fucking individual clocks. At the end of the day, I don't care how many raptures they give us. I don't care how many times the Savior is sent to come. All the saviors that y'all done said is coming, the UFOs that's coming, they've been here. Okay, anyways, let me stop. But no, I'm trying to say is so I was focused on politics. Then I was focused on how it's actually affecting my real life because I'm not one of those people like you're not going to feed me things and not think I'm gonna pay attention to the motherfucking bread trail that you're leading. Now I'm watching you. Now I'm intently watching you. Then I'm mentally being pulled by my family matters and my obligations that I have, which that's how I was able to birth so many beautiful things because I'm a creative. Being a creative, you can birth from a place of pain, but I feel like a lot of us creative souls are trying to move away from always pulling from this pain to produce something. I feel like we genuinely want to just create out of like our childlike minds because back then when we were operating in our gifts, we were children. There was without limitation, without care. Like the things that are going on right now have been going on since we have been here individually. Whatever timeline or time like age you're at right now, you've been going through that for 35 years. I'm not 35, 32 years for me, right? But 10 years, 18 years, if you look at it genuinely, the problems, the chaos, the disorder, the dysfunction, the distractions have all been going on since day one, boo. They literally say we are born into, this is for the girlies, the Christ following girls, because I understand. Hey, you are born into sin, right? And for the spiritual people, like you are born into like evil, chaos, confusion, a negative world. And you guys are the light. Regardless if you're a spiritual girly or a religious girly, everyone believes in a sense of light and source. So let's all just get on that motherfucking page. And don't come for me. We all believe that we are a sense of light from whatever source we all believe in. So let's just collectively agree. We all feel like we were brought here on this world to be some form of light or positive intention on this earth. Whether we fulfill that mission, whether we, bill and error that bitch and, you go opposition and you decide that you want to be the adversity on this fucking earth, it's a path, and it's still off of free will, regardless if you're religious or spiritual. Everything is a free will thing, right? So let's get together on that. She wanted to ruffle feathers on the Sunday reset. But no, to get back to my point, I realized that the main plug to all this, because back then propaganda was spread through newspapers, magazines, TV. They realized they lost us on the TV, so they started to infiltrate the streaming platforms that we use, whether it's YouTube, Netflix, or anything else. So now they're infiltrating their own propaganda because they lost us on the TV, they lost this newspaper. People aren't listening to the radio unless it's podcast driven. So now they bind into that and distracting us with that, which makes you feel creatively blocked. For the creatives, you start to feel blocked because you but we gonna lock back in. We lock back in. Anyways, through all of that, right? You're distracted with the propaganda. They now have switched to streaming platforms and our social media platforms, to where even if you're not a political person, even if you're somebody that don't want to buy into the fucking bullshit. Devil thought he had me. She always got motherfucking reinforcements. I digressed. Anyways, when you're so tied up into that, you don't have space for that because your heartstrings are pulled on that, your emotional springs, your mental, because the mental chaos that is coming with the shit that they are putting out there. There's definitely mental seeds being placed when they put it out there, regardless if you believe into it, like believe the hype or not. And all I know is I had started getting back into my journal bag, right? And I had picked up two journals from, y'all would guess it, Family Dollar, $5. And these are the best fucking journals I've gotten in the last few months. I've gone to Barnes and Nobles online, and none of the journals I've gotten hit like the ones I have. And one of them made me, is one's like basically a gratitude journal, and then one is a offline, like my life fucking offline. And as I got into the journal, because I kind of felt like, well, I'm not on the social media platforms as much as I was, I'm not intertwined with what's going on. Bullshit. Bullshit. I was definitely intertwined, because as I started to journal and started to be real with myself, because that's the place I can be real. So if you don't have people to be real and hold you accountable, maybe get into that journal. It's gonna hold your ass accountable, because the only person that can hold you really honestly accountable outside of source that you believe in is you. So when I got into that journal, I realized how much I honestly was online, because even when I'm at work and I got my little earphones in, I'm still being fed a message, even when I'm not intentionally listening to the messages that I'm listening to. Like even when I'm listening to the shit that uplifts me, there's a way for the propaganda to be pushed, right? And or they start to tweak the motherfucking things that I used to love. They start tweaking the content to basically kind of like mislead people. That's the right word. Mislead people, lead people astray. And I'll be watching. I'll be like, hold on, you almost led me astray, but a bitch too she uses her mind. I used to think that was a curse. For the people who feel that way, thinking that you live in your mind is a curse. No, it's a blessing. There's a lot of people who don't operate in their own mind, and they are led astray daily, and they don't know that they're led astray, and they never get to live in their own purpose and their own creativity, which is why it seems like it's so hard for you, because you don't see that many examples of it. Or then whenever we finally get an example of it, it's taken away because aha, plant, aha, we sent you to be distracting, to distract the minds. But the way that we worship other people, if we spent that much time worshiping ourselves and creating the lives that we want to live, which is what I'm talking about. That's why I feel like we're distracted. When I finally unplugged and started just driving with no music, no podcast, no nothing, just listening and watching and looking around, honey, the creativity came back because I started to feel inspired by reality. I was like, there was something missing in my creativity. There was something missing in my purpose. And then I realized my purpose was infiltrated by algorithm. It was infiltrated by AI. It was infiltrated by people's, the society's projection of what they feel is fucking right. But I'm gonna be honest, if you look around, you can see people feeling like they moving in their purpose, but you'll never know that no one is actually operating in who they need to be unless you do it yourself. And that's my thing, is we love to sit up here and they're on our high horse and this person's a fraud and this person's a fraud. But it's like, babe, the reason why you can point out a fucking fraud is because oh, that's a little too real for reset. That's a little too real for reset. But it's the fact. But if